Well, it probably cost them a fortune, but I was surprised to see in my mailbox, I got a Rum Barber Zero Gap podcast. Freshest podcast when it comes to barbering, man. Go check out the Rum Barber. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube Barber Academy. All right, so I know for a while you guys been wanting me to throw down some tutorials using the new blades from Gamma. If you don't know, they're double magnetics. They're designed to fit wall clippers, Gamma clippers, or anything that fits a wall blade. These double magnetics will fit. Now, there's a couple advantages here, just to get into it real quick. The half guard on the wall is sort of shaped more like a sled. It's kind of hard to find where flat is. And the zero on Gamma is nice and flat, and it's really easy to figure out where that is. But I can think of no better test than this fade that I'm about to do on some curly hair, which really allowed the guards to kind of shine. So without further ado, you guys, let's get into it. All right, you guys, so one of the first things I'm going to do when I get some hair like this, you just don't know how it's going to react. So I'm going to comb it all out. I'm going to figure out where all the growth patterns are because I want to cut this hair with the grain. And I want to do that so that it leaves the curl. I want there to still be some waves in it. So I'm coming with the number one. I actually have it in the closed position. And I'm going to carefully work my way through this whole head, making sure that I'm going with the grain pattern, with the wave pattern, and getting it all to lay down. Now, in a minute, I'm going to show you a little tip that's going to help you get your edge up right. And by the way, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I kind of ruined the look with enhancements. I mean, the good news is it washed out for the client and it was great. But I'm reviewing the footage now, and I was kind of disappointed with how the enhancement made it look. I actually think it sort of took away from how nice it was ahead of time. And this is because I was running low on enhancement. There was barely any left. This product I've been using called High Beams, there was barely any left. It was spraying real inconsistent, and I was real behind. So with that being said, you know I make mistakes too, but this cut came out fresh, and this is really going to show you guys how these guards function. They function really, really nice, and they really do allow you to lift up that hair a lot better than most of these guards that are out there. Very similar to the original purple magnetic guards. Everybody loved those guards. Now you see me putting in a little bit of spray, and I'm doing that. That's just regular hairspray. I would have used mousse if I had it or something else to enhance the curl, but I want it to lay down flat. I'm going to blow dry it forward. And another thing this is going to help me with, when I go back to do the edge up is going to be a little bit easier to cut, and you're just going to see it's going to come out super, super crisp. So I'm going to have Nilo blends on the channel a little bit later, also with a friend Roberto, the one who created the new Oster fast feed cordless, that Nike Mag one. If you haven't seen it on 360 Jeezy's video, it's sick. But Nilo blends is the one who created the bracket for which I'm using in this video. And in this video, I'm using a Evo with an Andis GTX blade on it using Nilo Blends bracket. And if I can find that information for you guys before this video releases, I'm going to drop it here. But we're going to actually be doing this on Monday. We're going to be going live with Nilo, talking about the process and everything he went through. So as far as what I'm doing in this haircut right now, let's get back to this for a second. He had a couple bumps at the back of his head. He was pretty much giving me like free reign to do whatever I wanted. So I actually brought the blend a little bit above the bumps. So this way I could get a nice smooth gradient, and I could really use these guards to their full effect. But if you guys could see with this Andis GTX blade paired alongside this Evo, what it does is it cuts really, really close. In fact, because the Evo is a magnetic motor trimmer, one of the first of its kind, the original use for this blade was a magnetic motor as well. So it actually makes sense to couple these two together, and they really do hit pretty damn good. So I'm going to put in a super harsh line, but not to worry. We're going to get it out. I'm going to show you how I get it out without any issues, without any struggle. So as for now, I'm just trying to make sure that it's even on both sides. This is a step that you guys can skip through quickly if you want, but I'm telling you guys, it's just very important that you just look at your client in the mirror, make sure that it's the same height on both sides, make sure that your launching point is the same all the way around the head. Then you can feel free to work in panels, kind of the way you're going to see me do it. But a lot of the steps that I do, like the guideline steps that I do them all the way around the whole head, and then I'm gonna start working out the blend kind of in sections, and that's how I actually work. I don't move the camera around so much, so I don't want to move the camera too much, so I just go ahead and I keep it on one side a little bit longer when I film. But as far as speed goes and what you guys are trying to use this for, that's exactly what you guys want to do. Just working in panels, making sure that all your guides are even, making sure that you're happy with it, and just be neat, and you're not going to struggle as much. Now, the nice thing about cutting down to 5/0 is this is a very small jump for your electric shaver. So if I got my electric shaver and I just go into this 5/0 length, I'm not going to have a whole lot of a jump. I'm just going to have a very small jump, and this is something that's really going to help you out as long as your stuff is 0 gap. So that's why I 0 gap that trimmer, because I knew I was going to put in that harsh line. I wanted to be as close as I could get to my electric shaver. Now, if you guys don't know, these are the Gamma Unos. These are like one of my favorite electric shavers, and I actually like to begin a lot of my fades still using the Braun Series 9, because the Braun Series 9 is a lot more gentle, and it moves the hair out of the way really fast. But the only downside to the Braun Series 9 is it doesn't cut quite as close, which is where I follow up with my Prodigies or with my Unos, so that I could get that hair no matter which direction that grain's going in and get it completely. Like, I want my client to be able to put his hand on the side of his head and feel nothing, no matter which way he moves it, against the grain, whatever, So this is where these Unos really, really shine, right in around the ear. Those little hairs that grow on some clients, it's like they're just attached from the scalp all the way on through to the ear, and this just makes it super easy. And another thing this makes it super easy too is when you're doing the blend, you can really see it. It's just super, super small, and it's really easy to make small adjustments. So I really don't know how I cut hair without this for so long. It's almost like we've been using this the whole time in a weird way, because we were using one blade on the Prodigy to do the blend, and now we have one single blade. So, without too much extra, that's really been a nice asset to my kit. So going up with the open taper, and I just got a Gamma Ergo here, and I'm going up with the open taper. This is by far my favorite clipper I've ever used. It just makes things easy. It's got the click lever, and we're going to begin clicking through right now. So you see me put this guideline in. I gave myself about, let's say, a finger's width or maybe an inch or something like that. I'm going to put this guideline in all the way around the whole head. Like I told you, the guideline steps, you should perform them 360 degrees around the head, so that you can be sure that your launching point is even from both sides. So just going through, I'm not really trying to begin the blend in these other steps. The curly hair, it really, really lays flat up against the scalp. It's challenging for the clipper to lift it and cut it. So you just have to make sure that you're getting it flat and you're getting that length that you need to get out of it. I believe it's about 2.5 millimeters in the open position. So we want to make sure that we got this hair down to 2.5 millimeters. And if you are angling this clipper in any way, there's a very good chance that you're probably leaving it a little bit too long in some spots. And that's going to be in the comments. Somebody's going to be like, yeah, I got a lot of cleanup, man. I'm having a lot of trouble. So just avoid that for yourself. So now I'm going to begin my crisscross pattern. I'm just moving back and forth. As you can see, I'm slightly angling the clipper, and each time that I go up, I'm clicking that lever down one click, and I'm staying a little bit lower than I was in the previous step. Now, I know if you're new at this, you're probably thinking, man, I feel like I've already went through these steps. I don't feel like it's making a change. Like, believe me, it is making a change. Little by little, continue clicking, continue moving down, and you guys are not going to have no problems. You guys are going to see this line is going to come out as easy for you as it does for me. And an additional note that I'll throw in there is my clipper is 0 gapped. So if you actually look at it, all these are sort of built to work with each other. As long as I 0 gap my trimmer, that means my electric shaver will work. As long as I 0 gap my clipper, that means that it will meet that trimmer length, so that I don't have too much extra cleanup. But with curly hair, you're going to have some cleanup, because it can do some crazy stuff on you as you go. Now, if I don't see that fade is looking perfectly fresh in between those two steps, I'll just jump back to the trimmer for a second, going in the upward position, Some people will like to rake. Raking just simply means you're coming down with that. You're coming down with it closed against the scalp. And I don't really like to do that because all my stuff is cutting very close, and that could really irritate somebody's skin. And it cuts a little closer than you might guess if you're doing that. So, and then bouncing back and forth. And if you notice, I try my best to absolutely complete any step before I move on. And once I begin to move on, I'm going to be good. Now, I was struggling a little bit here, so I actually went back to the Braun because the Braun is a slightly longer electric shaver. And I just thought maybe I could meet those two lengths a little bit better. But I'm starting to like what I'm seeing here, and that's going to give me the confidence to move on here. But you ever like start doing something and then you notice, man, his beard just, it needs a little help here. Like I can't keep looking at that line being all sloppy. I got to do something. Like this client didn't get a beard. He didn't get his beard done with me. So I'm just going to blend what he has in. But even so, I still couldn't look at it like that. So sometimes I just kind of go like where my hands are taking me, man. I just want to kind of clean things up a little bit. But the one thing that's like a huge pet peeve to me, when you guys send me your pictures to critique, I always notice in a lot of the pictures that no one bothered to blend in the beard. Like whether the client pays for it or not, you should at least blend it in. It takes all of 2 seconds. And if later you're going to if later you're going to post this, you need to have that done. Otherwise, other people are going to see it too. So what I have here is I actually have the 0 on, the 1 on, and I just made a couple more passes with the grain just to make sure that I completely got them. Now I got it in the open position, and I'm actually going up and against the grain. And you're going to see this is going to start to lighten up that line, lighten up that dark spot. And believe it or not, nothing's really going to change here. I'm going to perform my steps exactly the same way I did in the open to close taper section. I just got it open, and I'm going to begin clicking it down and trying to cut what I can. Now, if you notice, I did skip the 0 guard. So, I'm going to have that residual. Now, towards the top, I wanted to really meet that length. So this is where one of the guys really shine. This is the 1 1/2 guard, and I got it in the open position because I noticed that the 1 almost blended me perfect to my length on top. It almost had me perfect. So I actually jumped to the 1 1/2 just so that my eyes could enjoy that gradient, just so I could see what the blend was looking like towards the top, because I already know I'm gonna knock out them dark spots towards the bottom, so I don't worry about it at all. But again, every time I put a new guard on, usually I'm starting in the open position and I'm going to begin working it closed one step at a time. Now, if I use the 1 1/2 open and 1 1/2 closed and I wasn't 100% happy with it, I will return back to the 1 open, 1 closed. Now, here's the other gamma guard that really, really shines, and the more I work with it, the more I've really come to enjoy using it. Basically, what you're seeing here is the Andis double magnetic guard on steroids, the original one. And that's kind of how I look at this. It lifts the hair into the clipper. It cuts it efficiently. It has more teeth than the wall blade, and it is a lot closer together than the new Andis double magnetics are. So it really shines, and it really helps lift up that hair. And this is where you could really see it, because like I said, curly hair could do all type of things. Like you guys could follow all my steps, all my processes, all my advice, and it still not come out fresh. So once I'm done with that 0, let's remember where we are. 0 and open taper are one step above and below each other. So that's why if you get to that step with the 0 and it didn't finish it out, then you got to go back to the open taper. A lot of you guys are probably wasting time not making that blade swap, not going a little bit lower. I've talked about this before on the live, but I know that there's a lot of barbers out there who are so scared to bring the fade up just a little bit higher if they have to. And you really have no other options. I'll be honest with you. If the clipper is not cutting it at the length that you're at, there's really only one thing you could do. If that issue's not disappearing, there's only one thing you could do, and that's to go down a little bit lower. So go down a step. Don't be afraid of that, because don't nobody want a messed up fade that stayed low, and obviously nobody wants a high fade either. And that's why we're working within these parameters. We're setting guides and we're erasing them. We're setting guides and we're erasing them, and that's kind of what we're doing here. As you guys can see, I decided to just square off the corner that with the trimmer, because I just seen those little hairs kind of overhanging. It was bothering me. I will do the full edge up a little bit further in, but I just kind of wanted to square that off and make sure that that looked good to my eye. I'm seeing it all start to come together. However, I have that other side. I'm going to come with a 0 with the grain, little 0 against the grain, just to blend this beard in. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but at least it is not like a mule kicked you when you look at him and when you see exactly what's going on here. So again, I'm going to follow that up with a half open, half closed, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. Like I said, I'm not doing his beard. I just don't want to have a whole bunch of residual there. Now this is my 0. I called it a half a second ago. This is my 0 though, and I'm gonna just take a couple swipes with the grain, see if I can't get that to lay down any better, see if I can't get any of those little dark spots to disappear, and make sure that I've just covered all my bases. But I really like the way this fade's coming out. I'm happy with it, and I'm just gonna kind of mess around with the front just a little bit. You know, this is kind of my cleanup, and this is more cleanup than you'll ever really see me do. But again, it's because that curly hair, I'm just cushioning each step that I take. So if I take a step and I'm like, you know, man, I don't know if the 0 is going to get it out. Let me grab the 1, and then I go back and I'll grab the 0, just because I don't need a mistake, especially when I'm like filming this tutorial. I notice that it's coming out great. I like what I'm seeing, and I definitely don't want to have that one little mistake that people in the comments are shaming you for. So, you know, I'm just trying to make sure that it's clean and that it looks good. So once I'm done with this side, I'm going to flip over to this other side. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. This is going to be a little bit easier, a little bit quicker to sit through, but basically I'm just repeating the same exact steps over and over again. So one of the troubling areas for doing this type of cut can be in the crown. And this guy, he had like a crown and a half of a colic. So you just got to do your best to try to stay with the grain on that until you're into the steps where you're going against the grain. But really, that's pretty much it, and it's pretty straightforward from here. We got that closed taper all the way down, and we're knocking that out, and we're taking all that line away. So again, just to recap, as long as you have all your equipment, you know, set up, all your equipment is set up properly, all your stuff is functioning together, and it's all actually functioning, it's not going dull or giving you issues, this is all going to actually happen pretty easily for you. So in the back, as I did each side panel, I was kind of taking swipes towards the back. I was just sort of like roughly doing it. But now it's kind of like you're gonna have to do whatever you got to do to get them dark spots out of there. This looks to me like I got a 1 1/2 on there, and I'm going against the grain, and it's lifting that hair up, and it's feeding it in there a lot easier than the wall blade would be. This is one of those situations where if you had the wall 1 1/2 on, it's definitely going to cause you to struggle a little bit more. It doesn't lift the hair up quite as easily. It doesn't have enough teeth, and not to mention they pop off quite easily, which with magnetic blades, that's a reassuring thing to know that it's not popping off, that it's good. So I'm actually pretty excited to do this live tonight with Nilo and with Roberto, because they're the ones who created the cordless fast feed, and he actually sent me a cordless fast feed about like 4 years ago. He sent me all kind of stuff that was totally custom, stuff with Andis blades on it that was walls, stuff that no one was doing at the time. There was no cordless when he sent me those ones. So he just sort of opened my mind up to what the possibilities could be. And they had somebody else do the paint job because it's really, really intricate. It's a pretty awesome video. You guys should check out 360 Jeezy's video, and just so you can see that fast feed. But as you guys can see, this blend is coming together in the back. I'm going to keep messing with it just a little bit more just to make sure that, you know, I got it perfect. A lot of times when I film, I'm not really even cutting the back like specifically. I try to cut one side and the other side, and each time when I'm filming, I'm like taking swipes behind, and eliminating the issues in the back. And then usually when I'm filming, I'm just going to turn them and see what else is left. So there could be a little bit of jumping around, you know, in there. So what you see me doing there, though, that was just a 0 with the grain, because it was the natural, logical next step down. using the 0 with the grain. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to blend his beard in. On the other side, I kind of figured out that the way that I did it was a little bit harder, so I just took the half guard, and as you can see, I blended this in pretty easy, and we'll do the exact same steps that I did on the other side in reverse. But learning from the opposite side, I realized that using the half guard with the grain would probably more than likely get me to the blend that I wanted to get. So beyond here, it's just a little cleanup. And I would like to invite you guys to join me on the lives when you guys get a chance. It's usually every Saturday at 5 p.m. unless the Bills are playing, in which case that could be going on for the next couple weeks. So I might move the schedule around. But if you guys are subscribed and you hit that bell, you will be getting the update. You will know when I'm doing those lives. And also, if you guys want any of these Gamma products, I'm going to go ahead and shout them out real quick. You can use my code Eddie. You'll save 10% off both Gamma and Stylecraft products. And with that, I get a little kickback too. You get a little kickback, and we all get to win. So now we're going to do the edge up. I just hit it with the hairspray one more time, and I'm pushing it forward because I want this hair to be like, now I want it to be like locked down towards the scalp. I want it to show me everything. And most of all, when I hit it with the trimmer, I want it to stay still so that I could put that real crispy line in there. And this is a pretty easy edge up because I already kind of began that other side when I was working on it. So I'm just going to kind of connect the middle to what I did on that right side and do what I got to do on this left side. I remember when I did his hair, I did struggle a little bit with that left side, but wound up getting it after I hit it with the razor, because it can be really tricky to try to put a straight line on something that's curved. And one of the big tips that I got for you guys is direct their scalp up and down. Now, 90% of when you see somebody doing a picture on IG to show you how straight their edge up is, they put the head down. It always looks straight when you put it down. Trust me. It's when you look at them either dead on when their head is in like a normal position, or when they lift their head up like this. And when they lift their head up just like this slightly, you can usually see right where you need to go with that trimmer, and you can eliminate that. Now, this is also one of them things that's it's more art than skill to do these edge ups, because you got to look at where you need to go, and you just got to keep playing with it. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm seeing how even I am, and I'm just jumping back and forth from the mirror to what I'm doing, from the mirror to what I'm doing. And if you figure that mirror is, I don't know, 4 feet away, 4 feet back, you're getting basically an 8-foot perspective. You could step back from your chair a little bit, have a look at things. And that's where we get into what I call phase 6 of the haircut. Phase 6 is kind of like you wouldn't write a whole novel and then not even edit it and just send it off to a publisher. You'll get laughed at. You'll try to make an attempt to edit it, or you'll send it to an editor. And this is kind of my take on the phase 6. Phase 6 is just my last once over. I make sure that I handled everything that I wanted to do. I double check everything, make sure that I like what I'm seeing before I let the client leave, because it can be real embarrassing if you let the client leave and then it turns out you got an issue, or you call them back, or whatever happens. So I'm going to throw a little bit of shave gel on there. Usually use that Tomb 45 shave gel. It works pretty good. I like it. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just kind of clean up my line, moving down with the grain. And then I will come back and do it against the grain to give him the most fresh edge he could have, so that it lasts as long as possible. And I always try to pride myself on never taking too much of nobody's edge out. Take as little as you can. And one of the reasons for that is not because it's not going to look perfect or whatever. It's not because of that. It's because when it grows back, and it will only be a couple days for him when it grows back, it's going to start to look bad. So if you didn't take too much, the grow back is not going to be that much, and it's not going to take away from your haircut. His haircut's still going to look fresh, and we're going to be in good shape, for when he comes back. So I'm just taking that corner and I'm squaring that off a little bit, because it was like tipping down right there just a little bit, and it was bothering me. But at the end of the day, double checking your work is going to make sure that you get it correct. Now, I'm actually going to go through that. I'm going to throw in some enhancements, and this is where things got bad. I had a client waiting. I'm like 10 minutes behind already. It was a whim that I tried to film this one because I knew it'd be good for y'all, and my high beams was running out and spraying like intermittently, which I gotta say the high beams is a fire product. Yo, it works really, really easy, really well. It's just an aerosol can, and you just spray it in and you can get that edge just right. But I think right here, that's right here is where you can pretty much see how the cut came out, you know, how clean it is, how fresh it is before that. And the other thing about the high beams is it does not last. It's literally like a one shampoo kind of thing, so it washes right out. But it's great for taking pictures. It's great for kind of showing people what it would look like if they did do say a kiss enhancement or maybe a Beijing or something like that. But yeah, you guys, I'm gonna keep rocking here. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna let you guys let me know how it goes. And there I go, going in there with the high beams, just trying my best not to make a mess. I got a little whack color card that I bought from Amazon that I hate. I know that there's one out there that somebody makes. I don't remember who, but I know it's pretty good. But just trying to cover up those light spots and show off. Like, I wish I would have stopped here. I really wish I would have stopped here. But there I go. It's struggling, and it's starting to spray out a whole lot here and there, and it's just not, you know, I'm over here holding it upside down, doing all kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, like I said, the cut was fresh. The guards worked great. And I got to thank you guys for stopping in. Got to thank you guys for hanging out, listening, and kicking it with the YouTube Barber Academy. If you like this style of tutorials, if you like going this deep, if you like really learning about how to do this, join us on Saturdays on the lives. And we're going to just keep getting even deeper and deeper into this until you guys start really building a good understanding of what you're doing, and so you start feeling comfortable. I've had literally maybe, I don't know, tens of thousands of comments about people who say things to the effect of, you know, it wasn't easy to sit through every tutorial for me. I know it, but it was very informative, and a lot of people learned a lot. See, you guys see I got a little dark spot in the edge. Maybe it looks perfect to you guys. Let me know. Maybe it don't. But to me, it was just, I think it was perfect without the spray. So, all right, you guys, man, I'm going to ride out of here. I appreciate you guys for hanging. I appreciate you guys for listening. And let's go Bills. Hopefully we get after a little Super Bowl win. I hope when this video uploads that we're still alive. But, yo, that was a crazy game against the Colts. And, man, I can't believe them Steelers went down like that. Up in flames. All right, for real, I'm out. Peace.